into episode 6 of Survivor 45. That Survivor 45. From what I remember, the last episode, episode 5, was kind of a bummer. Nothing really happened, and it was a bunch of repeating. The final tribal council was really the only interesting thing, but then again, it was kind of obvious what was going to happen. If I could guess what's going to happen, then it's obvious. But I remember having high hopes because I think it advertised that this episode is a merge. So I'm excited to see that. It doesn't hurt that the pre-merge was mainly just the same tribe over and over and over again going to tribal council. So that was really the only tribe that had drama being, played out as opposed to the other two tribes. I generally don't know what's going to happen with the merge. It's not obvious for that. So I'm excited to see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, 15 minutes in. It's hard for me to talk about stuff because I'm just kind of like taking it all in. Nothing's really happened yet. But it is the merge. To be honest, as much as I do like avoid confrontation, even I don't even like really watching it too much, especially on Survivor. But this was one of those times where it's like I've seen this whole, oh well, it's okay. I understand why you didn't tell me, and hopefully you guys keep me in mind and we can still work together. I've seen it so many times. I kind of wanted Kendra to just say, "Shut up," So, but yeah, that was like a typical after blindside kind of talk. It was one of the reasons why I appreciated Owen way back when on like 42 or something like that, or 43, because he was like, I don't want to talk, leave me alone. And do what I do. Anyway, so the new yellow tribe idol was found by Bruce. I'm noticing there's always like a bunch of like reoccurring names that keep popping up. But there's still names that are kind of being left out, you know what I mean? And when they don't get left out, it's kind of like a menial thing. Like, who cares, really? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Bruce's name just keeps kind of popping up. So, I wonder how long that's going to last, how long he'll be here. Something I don't remember is that whether or not the blue tribe idol was found, the original one. Because let me see, the red idol was found by Austin. The yellow idol was found twice. First by Bruce, second by I don't remember her name. Sabaya, I think her name is. Sabaya or Katura. I think it's Sabaya. But I don't remember anyone having the blue idol. You know what I mean? Because I think back to that tribe and I don't think anyone ever found it. So yeah. As it stands, there are numbers. The red tribe clearly has the most amount of people. And the blue tribe second place with 5 because Brando was voted out. And then the yellow tribe with 2. Caleb and Emily, who get most of the screen time on either of their tribes no matter what. They're always a main key figure, you know what I mean? It was one of the reasons why I was finding this episode or this season a little dull at first, because it always went back to Caleb or Emily or somebody from that yellow tribe. They were kind of hogging the screen so far. And in an hour-long episode as opposed to a 45, it's a little more draining than it usually should be. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, like I want them to be hour-long episodes. I want them to introduce more characters, but at the same time, there's always going to be a case where maybe they can't do that because the cast doesn't really have anything interesting to them, or like the strategy is just so stagnant that it doesn't matter. Hopefully this isn't one of those seasons. Anyway, 15 minutes in, let's see what happens next. Okay, third commercial break in, and I'm realizing what's really compounding this whole feeling of like how, oh, I've seen this before. I'm seeing what's making me feel like I'm seeing something over and over and over again. Usually I don't have that problem with Survivor too much, but I'm realizing what it is now, and it's because this one, it's on steroids. The only people who really get the attention are like Caleb, Emily, or like that, or Austin or Drew. Every single strategy talk, most of the advantages always draw their way back to them. Who cares about anyone else? You know what I mean? Like the strategy, you want to see one of those for. The advantages, you want to see what those for. Who cares if Bruce has an idol? You know what I mean? Who cares? At this point, he's like ostracized everyone else who might want to work with him. He's gonna get voted out at this point, anyways. At this point, he might even be like challenges. They might even just dominate the challenges at this point, because I mean that was all Reba, and like the original Reba dominated challenges. it's like always those four that just get the most screen time. If anything, seeing Bruce talk about how Caleb is basically steamrolling, not steamrolling, but like how he's talking to everybody else, it was a clear sign. It's like, okay, Bruce is the only one seeing it. No one else cares because everyone else hates Bruce. So is how far is Caleb, Drew, Austin, and Emily just gonna make it? How far until they blindside each other? Because that's what I want to see. You know, if the whole merge is gonna be those four picking off everyone else, and then it only gets interesting in the final four or whatever, or the final five, it's like, okay, but I mean, didn't we just do this with the last season? You know what I'm saying? You know, it got sick. It got tiring when it came to the last season when it was just those three purples that survived. The Three Stooges, I think, is what they were called. But I don't want it to happen again this time. So I want other people to like fight back. You know, I don't want it to be another steamroll. Hopefully, it'll happen. Let's see. Okay, so I'm at the commercial break right before Tribal Council, and I have a little hope that maybe one of the main four will be voted out tonight, just for the sake of opening up the game and like, so I can see strategy from anyone other than those four. But I'm not really sure that was a lot to unpack, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to unpack all of it. But Bruce was targeting Caleb because he's doing so well in the game. It was obvious, and then he got Austin and Drew to agree to it, and then Caleb threw Bruce under the bus with his idol, which I don't really think helps him in the long run either. If anything, he's also burning his own game with that play. So now, in the driver's seat are once again Austin and Drew, which kind of upsets me, but as it stands right now, maybe those main four start to eat each other. You know what I mean? But I don't want to see another season where it's just like one group dominating strategically. You know what I mean? Socially, strategically. So what I'm hoping for is Caleb does go home tonight and Bruce plays his idol. Which I can't even believe I said that, because originally I was voting for Caleb. You know what I mean? If he survives, I won't be upset about it. But for the sake of having an exciting season, I don't know, I guess I do want to kind of see him go. You know, just to see other people play the game, you know, as opposed to just following along whatever those four are doing. Yeah, there's not much to say. Well, what do I think is going to happen in Tribal Council is a real question. And, well, I don't know. Like, I can see cases for both Caleb and Bruce, but I think at the end of the day, I think Austin and Drew would rather target Caleb and flush out Bruce's idol. You know what I mean? I don't see a reason for them to take him out now. They can get along fine with just kicking off Bello. You know what I mean? Well, can they actually? Because if they kick off Caleb, Bruce is still going to stay with Bello. Katurah might flip for Reba just because she's sick of Bruce. Actually, yeah, at the end of the day, Drew and Austin still come out looking for the better if they just try and vote out Caleb. You know what I mean? So I think that's what would happen. I feel like as strategic as both Drew and Austin are, I feel like that's what they do is vote off Caleb. If they vote off Bruce, I mean, they get rid of a hidden immunity idol, sure, but I mean, at the same time, it's like you don't gain as much if you vote off Bruce. And if anything, you just make the other side weaker. So, as for voting off Jay, or no, not Jay. Yeah, no, I think her name's Jay. I mean, that's the easy vote. But I don't see them doing that either, because it's basically a free vote that you don't have to work too hard for. So I don't think Jay's going to go home. I do think it will be Caleb, based on how I think those two think strategically. And I think overall it is the best move for them. Voting off Bruce is still a good move for them, but it's kind of a mid move, you know what I mean? Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a double cheeseburger or a plain cheeseburger? It's like one cheeseburger, you know what I mean? So that's my prediction. We'll see if it comes true. Actually, before we start Tribal Council, I just remembered something. I quickly forgot that it's one of those things where it's like the tribe split and only the side that lost that challenge can be voted out. So Bruce isn't even going to go home. You know what I mean? So it's either going to be Caleb or Jay. And again, if that's the case, I really don't see a reason why they would vote out Jay instead of Caleb. You know what I mean? Like, at that point, it's not even comparing cheeseburgers. It's like, do you want to get the double cheeseburger or do you want to get the small fry? You know what I mean? Of course you're going to go for the double cheeseburger. Of course you're not a meat eater, but the point stands. So, yeah, now I'm even more confident that Caleb's going to go home. I mean, voting out Jay is kind of a pointless vote. You know what I mean? Like, she hasn't done anything yet. She's harmless at this point, you know? She doesn't have big, strong moves. She has a group that's already ready to betray her, and they know that they're ready to betray her. Both Austin and Drew. So, yeah, I think Caleb is going to go home tonight.
Okay, so Tribal Council happened, and it was exciting. Thank God. Exciting vote off. Caleb burned his whole damn game. I'd be surprised if for some reason they keep him around after that Tribal Council performance. It wasn't even performance, it was a train wreck. He literally threw everyone under the bus at that point. And then he got saved by a shot in the dark in one of the most crucial times it could have been saved, and it's never happened before, not really, not like that, and it happened. And it was the first time it was a revote like that, you know what I mean? So that's cool. And then, for some reason, Jay goes home on the revote, unanimously. Like, you all wanted to vote out Caleb, and then when you have the chance, you don't vote out his number 2? I can't believe Emily made it out of that game. Out of that Tribal Council. Emily should have been voted out. For some reason, Jay, who was minding her own business, not doing anything, not a threat to anyone, was voted out. Instead of Emily. I don't understand what's going on with this group. Like, are they super fans who know strategy, or are they just messing around? Like, what is that? I don't know. I would say, like, maybe we're not seeing something, but this is an hour-long episode. Like, how much more do I have to see? You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot believe Emily made it out of that Tribal Council. I don't know how she did it. And I have to give credit to her, because Caleb didn't do any help. I don't understand why anyone from Reba voted off Jay. It did not make a lick of sense to me that you could have just gotten rid of Emily. If you were really serious about trying to unanimously vote out Caleb like that, and not vote out his only ally, I don't understand it one bit. Like, what was that? What was that? I mean, this, just because of that ending, even though I don't like that Jay got voted out, that kind of soured the ending a little bit, but it was interesting to see. So we'll see what happens next episode, because now, thankfully, the merge reinvigorated the game for me a little bit. That being said, the main 4 are still there, you know? So I don't know how much more interesting it can be, especially seeing as how in the next time on portion of the show, there was barely any, like, leeway that Caleb or Emily are really at danger at this point, you know what I mean? So maybe it'd just be the same old thing as before. I'm interested to see what happens with Caleb's game, because I mean, if he seriously isn't going to be the target of the next Tribal Council, I don't know what to say. There'll be 2 people voted out in the next Tribal Council, so that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. Is it going to happen back to back, or maybe just 2 people get voted out at once? I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty then. That was episode 6. I'll see you guys next time for episode 7. Peace.